We set?
We are set.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's school board meeting. This is normally one of our favorite meetings of the year, where we get to recognize our retiring folks. But before we get to that, I want to ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And next time I'm going to ask that you all read along with me or say it along with me, so I'm not like one of those singers who gets up there and forgets a word. As I mentioned before, this is really a pretty exciting day for us. It's sad in a way, but it's also a time where we really get to pay homage to those people who helped make our school district what it is. And Susan, I believe you're going to do the reading today.
Dave, we're not actually going to read. We're just going to accept the recommendations, and then the things we would typically do, I will send out to each of our recipients along with their certificate.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the board, I know that we thank each and every one of them, and hopefully we'll get a time where we can adequately give them the coffee hour they deserve.
Dave, perhaps you'd like to read their names into the record.
Very good. David Bond, custodian. Tammy Boyd, Committee on Special Education Chair. Catherine Cassidy, English teacher. Carol Kopecki, a bus aide. Deborah Collins, a library media specialist. Kimberly Edwards, a guidance counselor. James Hartage, our technology teacher. Karen, could you move the screen a little bit? Thank you. Leslie Kenny Terry, an English teacher. Cheryl Ladapusa, an elementary teacher. David Pinder, one of the cleaners at Glen Warden. Janet Rathjens, our health teacher. Sharon Sykes, an elementary teacher. And Joyce Goudreau, a bus driver. Thank you, each and every one of you, for the years of service to Scotia-Glenville. I know our students will be sorry to see you leave. We're sorry to see you leave, but thank you so much for all you've done. Next on our agenda is the hearing and privilege of the floor. Because of the situation with our virtual meetings, what I would ask is that if you do have a question, if you want to type it into the question and answer, we could look at it at the end. But what I would really suggest that if you would not mind doing is to send us that question in an email. And I promise we will respond to that question through an email. This structure is a little difficult because we're all in a different location to be able to answer your question. But if you don't mind that, I will ensure that your question is heard. Next on our agenda are the superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Dave. I want to talk a little bit about graduation at this point. So the first thing I'd like to do is help folks understand that our current hesitation about where we're going with graduation, what exactly will happen, is not the board's doing, is not my doing, is frankly not of the district's doing. We are acting in response to the governor's executive order, which currently says you can't have gatherings of more than 10. So large gatherings are still not allowed. I know that people think other districts, for example, Burnt Hills, are making decisions about graduation, that they're going to have a large ceremony or 2 large ceremonies. And that if Burton Hills is doing that, why aren't we? So I want to be very clear. I'm talking to my colleagues daily. In fact, I talked with Dr. McGrath just today. Although they too hope to be able to have some sorts of type of large gathering, they are in the same spot we are in terms of planning. So they have not approved or announced that they are going to have a large graduation because, again, at this point, we are prohibited from having large gatherings. So when we think about what the district is considering, we have talked about everything from using the main turf and having an outdoor graduation if in fact the governor's executive order changes or is reissued to include such gatherings. We're talking about a drive-through graduation. We're talking about perhaps either of those things and a virtual graduation from proctors. But at this point, we are following the governor's directives. So there is not an opportunity, for example, for us to go to proctors and have our typical graduation. There is not an opportunity right this minute for us to gather on the main turf field, even socially distanced, because we are not allowed to have gatherings of that size. As I've said to many of our students, to parents we've spoken to our own staff, we are planning multiple things and we are going to have to be nimble and quick if in fact we have other opportunities. But at this point, we are planning, given what I refer to as the guardrails, that we can function within. So I hope that information is helpful to people. I would also tell you, just because someone posts on Facebook that Burton Hills is having a regular large graduation, that doesn't make it true. And in fact, I can assure you it's not. So again, we are all working on this, schools throughout the capital region, to do things that commemorate our students, but are within the executive order. So I would like to say that. The second piece, I would also like to extend my congratulations to our retirees. I wish we could have had you all together and had snacks, which we typically do. But again, we will find a way to honor you by sending you the things that we would typically hand you in the board meeting to you at your home address. And I will enclose a personal note with each of those because every person on that list is someone I know quite well. So I want to thank you for that. Mr. Bucciafero, is there anything else you wanted me to address as part of my comments that I have not?
Sorry, I was muted. I think you addressed the one question I did have that had to do with the kinds of plans that we are moving forward with for next year. And I think again, you had mentioned the rails we have to live by. In this case, it's sort of 3 rails, and we're not sure which rail the switch on the train is going to move us towards. But you did address that, and I would thank everyone for that. I would like to, although we don't know what the election's going to do and who's going to be on the board, but one of our board members has elected not to run for re-election and retire. Not really retire, but I just wanted to thank Bill personally for all the years of his commitment to the board and what he's given to the board over the last number of years, and fought through, illness to make sure he was here, and very proud to have served with him.
Thanks, Bill.
But Bill, this isn't your last board meeting, so we'll talk nicely about you again at the next board meeting in June. Yeah. Don't think you're done.
You're not done, Bill. You deserve 2. You serve multiple terms. You get 2 goodbyes. I guess we're going to move on to number 6, which is to approve our district professional development plan for 2021.
I'll move the Board of Education adopt the Scotia-Glenville Central School District Professional Development Plan for 2020 to 2021 as submitted.
Thank you, Pam. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? Thank you. Can I get a, for number 7? Can I get a motion, please?
Sure.
I'll motion to accept the gift and donation from Mary Druscugula to be used for art supplies at Glen Warden Elementary School.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions on this? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? Thank you, Mary. We always love gifts, don't we? Next is a resolution around the annual organization meeting to be held in July. Can I get a motion?
Sure. I'll move that we schedule the annual organization meeting as stated.
I'll second.
All in favor? Are any questions about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Great. Thank you. Next is the ratification of a memorandum of agreement. Can I get a motion for this?
I'll motion to approve the ratification memorandum and agreement by and between Scotia-Glenville Central School District and Scotia-Glenville Teachers Association, School Aides and Monitors Unit as stated.
Do we have any questions on this?
No.
Second.
All in favor? I'm sorry, did somebody have a question?
I just seconded.
Oh, thank you, Pam. I thought I heard second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Thank you, and great job by all involved in that. Next is a memorandum of agreement between Local 766 and Council 66. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that the board approves item number 10 as stated.
I second it.
Thank you. Any questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Great, thank you. Next is to approve the Questar 3 2021 intermunicipal agreement. Can I get a motion?
Sure. I'll move that we approve the Questar 3 intermunicipal agreement for auditing services.
Any questions
Second.
on this? Thank you, Hal. Any questions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Super. Anybody abstain? Any nays? So approved. Number 12, approve the addendum to the BA Construction Services Inc. contract.
I'll move we approve the addendum to the BA Construction Services contract.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there anything, Drew, that you needed to say about this or wanted to say, or?
My memo had, did you see
Okay.
the memo? That's kind of explanatory. If you have questions, be glad to answer them.
Right. Your memo pretty much explained it. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? I can't see everyone, so that's why I'm asking the nays and the abstain. So I can't count everybody's or hear everybody's voice. Next is to approve legal counsel agreement.
I'll move we accept the legal counsel agreement between Scotia-Glenville and the Honeywell Law Firm.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Okay. So moved. Next is communication.
I will move communication. I will move the tenure recommendations, and I would like to read the names into the record, and I will apologize now if I mess up anybody's name. Laura Capuniano, Caitlin Ecker, Kara Amon, Serena Barkley, Danielle Bogue, Christine Capozzi, Susan Daniels, Cynthia Elliott, Brooke Keith, David Lipiello, Andra Mulligan, John Prilo, Diane Sarton, Sean Schreiner, Danielle Gizzo, Nancy Cooper, Elijah Quick, Patricia Zeman, and Lauren Daniels. I will also move staffing, placement of students with disabilities, bid for the refrigeration maintenance and repair service, and the minutes for the 2 meetings of February 10th and February 24th as submitted.
Wow.
Thank you. We
No,
put a few
Pam.
tricky ones in there, didn't we, for you, Pam?
They weren't too bad, I don't think, but I could
So-
have butchered them.
So
You've done well on
earlier,
that one.
I had mentioned this is both a happy and a sad day for us on the board when we have to say goodbye to folks. This is the happy part where and what a tenure list we have, where we're getting to bring into our community and basically make them part of our district in a way they weren't even before. This is a really great moment. So are there any questions that we have on these?
We have a second,
No,
Dave?
we're going to get to that. So
I
do we have a
seconded it.
second? Yep.
I did.
I thought, Kim, you said second, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? No abstentions? Thank you. So passed. And again, I would imagine, Susan, that you will do the same thing you did before and send out notes to everybody, giving them the best wishes of the board and everyone.
Absolutely, Dave. And if all goes well, we'll celebrate them as school returns in September.
I was just going to say that I'm missing my cookies right now. So
Cookies and flavor.
thank you, everyone. And we have a number of warrants today to go through. So just stop me if you have a question, okay, on any of them.
Don't forget the treasurer's report.
No, I got that one too. So are there any questions on our treasurer's report? No. Are there any questions on payroll number 20? 21? Payroll number 22? Payroll number 23? Payroll warrant number 24. I'm going to go through the check warrants, and again, stop me if you have a question. A check warrant, or A32, H17, A34, H18, A35, H19, A37, H20, and A38, H21. Any questions on any of those? If not, we'll pass these for along. Any questions? Okay. Next is other business. Does anyone have any other business?
Not really other business, but Susan, I just want to thank you for commenting and your comments about the graduation and what the plans are. I know there's a lot of frustration out there right now in the community, and rightfully so, with the class of 2020 and their parents. They've reached out to all of us and shared their views with us. a lot of them feel that we're not getting back to them quick enough or possibly in the way that they want. So thank you for communicating, as I knew you would at some point here. And all I can say is just continue to keep us all informed like you will, and keep those parents and those hardworking kids in the class of 2020 informed, because them and their parents both deserve that. So thank you.
I'd second that motion, especially I'm not sure what I'm going to tell my grandson who goes to Burn Hills and is graduating, but well, I'm glad for the information.
Trust me, every superintendent and every school board wants to have a traditional graduation. I don't know of anyone who does not, but we have to respect at this point that the governor has said no large gatherings. I will be the first person to stand up and cheer if that changes.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to be right behind you.
Thank you, Susan, for all your hard work with that.
Any other business? If not, I'm going to just state to anyone who does have a question for the board or the administration, please email it. The fastest way to get an answer is if you email it to us. And I can promise you the board will give it attention, and we'll get back to you. We know that this is a difficult time, and it's a tough way to have to communicate in the only way. Phones still work as well. We don't mind calls. Just for me, I know it's easier to get a hold of me through an email, but please, if you want to talk to somebody, reach out with a phone call as well. The board's work is not done, folks. We are moving into an exec session now for the purpose of negotiations. I want to just thank everyone who came to today's board meeting, who came to the Meet the Candidates, and who came to the budget hearing. Stay safe, have a good week, and we'll see you folks in a couple weeks, and hopefully with a very positive June 9th result.
Okay,
So how do
board
we-
members, if you just sit tight, Karen's going to do her magic again at some so she'll get us resettled.
Okay, I'll make a motion then that we go to exec.
Yep. Thank you, Pam. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank
We are
you.
moving into exec for the purpose of negotiations.
So I'm going to stop recording now and just give me a second, get folks moved around.
I am leaving for 1 minute.